Thank you, Madam Chairman. Last week, the most emailed article from the New York Times was a piece on how Americans aren't saving nearly enough for retirement. And the article began with the startling numbers about how little Americans have put away for their retirement. That a third of those on the edge of retirement have no retirement savings, and another third have less than a year's income put away. But then the article took an unexpected turn. It said, and I quote, "The standard prescription is that Americans should put more money aside. But this recommendation glosses over a critical driver of unpreparedness. Wall Street is bleeding savers dry." What the author meant was that the money Americans manage to scrape together and invest for their retirement is being eaten away by high fees, commissions, kickbacks that advisors and brokers on Wall Street get for selling lousy retirement products. Dr. Meynell, you are the director of the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College. Can you explain how Americans' ability to retire comfortably and securely became dependent on the ability to navigate the stock market?
So we've had this shift from old-fashioned defined benefit plans where the employer did all the work to roll your own retirement plans that we have to make all the decisions. And so we're there picking our investments, and we don't pick very smart investments. People in 401k plans I know are paying too much in fees. I think, and I'm almost sure that they're paying much too much in IRAs where more of the money is gone. Nothing I have read has persuaded me that you get a better product by paying higher fees for your financial instrument. And if I had my way, I would have investments in 401ks and IRAs that are where they receive favorable tax provisions limited to low-fee index funds.
Well,
there are too many actively. Oh, would you like to?
No, I'm just going to say, good. I just want to follow up because I want to direct this, because one consequence of the shift from defined benefit pensions to 401ks and IRAs was that Americans had to rely on investment advisors and broker-dealers who can legally take kickbacks for selling Americans lousy products. So, Dr. Meynell, I want to get another part of this. Employers have had to make sure that when they invest their employees' pension dollars, those investments are in the best interests of the employees. So why is it that retirement advisors and broker-dealers who serve clients directly rather than through an employer can peddle lousy products that line their own pockets while they drain the savings of the clients?
So the real issue is that IRAs were not covered by the fiduciary rule when ERISA was passed. And so suitability is the standard, which is a lower standard, and there is an incentive to provide people with products where the fees are the highest. And I support the effort of the Labor Department to try to get a fiduciary standard for broker-dealers. And I hope it comes through, but there is a fiduciary standard for 401ks, and when you look at the array of investments in 401ks, there are a lot of high fee products there as well, where I think I'm shocked that there are still so many actively managed funds in these plans, costing people a big percent of their pile at retirement.
So let's just stay focused on this question about costs. Ms. Chusky, you've spent your career helping thousands of Americans make better decisions about their finances. And I imagine you've heard a lot of stories from families who've lost money because of bad investment advice. One thing that you have recommended many times in your books and articles is that families looking for retirement advice should seek out a fee-only investment advisor who is bound by law to offer advice that is in the best interests of the client. Why do you recommend this kind of advisor?
I'd like to actually split the question into two pieces. The bound by law to offer the information that's in the best interest of the client. In other words, an across-the-board fiduciary standard, I believe, is something that every investor deserves. Everyone deserves unbiased, unconflicted financial advice. The The books in which I wrote the across-the-board recommendation for a fee-only advisor go back several years. And although I believe that there are tremendous advantages to fee-only advisors, I think we need to look at the way that the fee-only industry has evolved and ask the question whether it is in fact best for all investors. Fee-only advisors now, in many cases, take a percentage of assets under management, a 1% typically fee of assets under management. If my grandmother has a portfolio with a ladder of bonds in it, and all she requires is that when a bond matures, an advisor gives her a recommendation to replace one of those bonds, I actually think that that 1% is a too great a fee to be taking, and that she would probably be better served by just paying a commission. What I think, though, is that we are lacking the Schumer box here. We need some transparent, across-the-board way to simply compare dollars to dollars. What am I buying and what am I getting for that money? Because unfortunately, whether you pay a fee for your advice or whether you pay a commission, not all advice is good advice.
So it's a very interesting point, because what I'm hearing you say, in effect, is there's no easy way out of the problem that we have created, and that is the potential conflict that's there from advisors who take care of themselves rather than taking care of their clients. You know, my view on this is there are a lot of good investment advisors out there, and they really do put the interests of their clients at first and foremost. The problem is they have to compete with the advisors who don't do that, who put their own interests first. And the only way we fix that is if we change the rule and say that all of the investment advisors have to put the client's best interest first. And I think that's just critical when we talk about the retirement gaps here. Thank you, Madam Chairman.